Right, well, no.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. On this wonderful, absolutely
So
gorgeous
nice.
day. Yeah.
Compared to the weather we've been having, we timed the bank holiday weekend pretty well. So yeah, I'm Freya.
And I'm Alex.
And we're from the Green Gym team at TCV Hollybush in Leeds. But it's not just us that you've got today. We've actually got a very special live stream this week, because this week it's Volunteers Week.
It is Volunteers Week. Yeah,
Alex refused to be as enthusiastic about it as I was going to be.
I'm not as enthusiastic about the arm pumping, but I'm very enthusiastic about all of our lovely volunteers. And we've got a special stream lined up for you today. If you're a regular and you sit and watch us, thank you for watching us. But you don't have to put up with that today. It's not going to be all us. We're going to go across the country talking to other volunteers up and down England.
Yeah, because it's Volunteers Week, we just want to really recognise the enormous amount of work that volunteers do for the conservation volunteers. The clues in the names, they're pretty integral to everything that we do. And it's not just in Leeds, for the people that are familiar with Hollybush, it's not just in Leeds that TCV operates. There's all across the UK, and we've got offices and people out doing projects every single day. It's been a bit of a quiet year. It's been a bit of a weird year.
It has,
things are really starting up again now. You'll probably hear in the background at various stages what's going on here. We'll talk a little bit later about what we've got going on at Hollybush. But we are going to visit some of the places that we've got across England today with our Wild Skills trainees. So the Wild Skills trainees are a project that's running, and we've got people down in London and we've got them across the north. So yeah, we're going to go and join some of them today, because they very kindly agreed to come and keep us company on our weekly live stream this week.
So our first Wild Skills trainee is Becky, and she is situated in Leeds. She's at the Skelton Grange office, which is our sister office in Leeds. You can see her on the screen now. We will hand it over to Becky to give you a rundown of what she's been doing there, what the volunteers get on with at Skelton Grange. So over to you, Becky.
Over to Becky. Thank you very much.
Hiya. I'm Becky. I'm the Wild Skills trainee at Skelton Grange in Leeds. And we are funded by, the Wild Skills trainees are funded by the players of the People's Postcode Lottery. So big thanks to them. So at Skelton Grange, we've got loads of things starting to run again. So my role is kind of focusing on education and working with children in the outdoors. So we've got a beautiful 10-acre site, really gorgeous, and a gorgeous day, like Freya and Alex said. So it's half term at the moment, so we've got some holiday sessions running at the moment. Today and tomorrow we've got healthy holidays, so that's where we have groups of children from local schools, and we have them in and we entertain them, we play games, and we also provide them with lunch and food to take home with them when they go home. So that's really lovely. We've got kids on site at the moment, so that's great, and we've got volunteers who are leading those sessions, which is so key. They so generously give up their time, and there's so much training that they have access to through TCV that they can lead the sessions. So we've had training of how to play games and the games that we can play, behavioral management, but then also the really important side of stuff like the safeguarding, which is something that the training that I've had access to recently. But it's not just education that we do at Skelton. We've got practical volunteers who help maintain the site, and we're in the middle of some really big construction projects at the moment. So we've got volunteers just over there who are helping rebuild our outdoor classroom, and just really making the site a really gorgeous place for children and people. So some of the things that I've really enjoyed getting out of this traineeship so far is being able to work with volunteers, because they're all so enthusiastic and passionate about what we do. So working with people who kind of share those values with me, it's really, really rewarding. And also, it's just nice to be able to work in a place where it's just so beautiful, and that is by and large due to not only our great staff, but our fantastic volunteers who really put loads of effort into making sure that we've got a gorgeous site like we do. So I think that's all from me. I'll head back over to Freya and Alex if they are about.
Okay, yeah, thanks
Brilliant.
very much, Becky. It's wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you said,
thank you, Becky.
Skelton is a
Cool.
wonderful place. We both started off there.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.
Me and Alex
Absolutely.
started with TCV as volunteer officers at Skelton Grange, so
great
it really
place
is a
to be.
beautiful site. And the volunteers that look after it are absolutely amazing. Like the green team on a Friday and the green gym on a Monday.
Yeah.
They've just done so much over the years. It's just so impressive because it's a massive site and there's so
It's
much
huge, yeah.
variety of activities with the woods and like gardening and like
There's always
it's an
something
amazing.
going on here at Skelton.
Yeah, brilliant.
Right. Well, anyway, we're aware that you're very, very busy, Becky.
I am
so
very,
you get
very
on with your day doing the great work that you do.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Becky. And we're now going to head down to London. So we're leaving Yorkshire and we're going down to London to Dulwich, where Yusuf will be introducing us to the work that they've been doing down there.
Mm-hmm.
So over to you.
Take it away.
Hey guys, my name is Yusuf. I work at Dulwich Upper Woodland in South London. So today we are looking at the pond that we've been refurbishing. So there's some big plans this year. We're going to be digging all this out, putting some flooring around the outside of here for pond dipping for all the kids. When we get those visiting, we're going to redo this whole fence. And yeah, so we need lots of volunteers to do that. Just here on this tree, we've got a bunch of bat boxes. One thing I want to do this year is do a lot more surveying, because there's not been a lot of surveying the past couple of years. Dulwich Upper Woodland has some of the most detailed fungi records in London. So yeah, I'd like to get a lot of the volunteers involved in that this year. So we're going to be having lots of bat surveys, maybe some hedgehog surveys. And one thing that I've started already is the butterfly transects. That's where you walk around the woodland and just count how many butterflies you see. It's really fun. I really like butterflies. A real hot spot for the butterflies at the moment is this glade, this woodland glade. This was put in by our volunteers, I think last year or maybe 2 years ago. Spent a long time taking all the bramble out, all the ivy, clearing this space. So we've got a lot more sunlight coming in through here. Right now we've got some red campion. Where's the red campion? Just here. These cute little red plants. We've got a bunch of garlic mustard. That's really not good stuff for the orange tip butterflies. And we're lucky enough to have loads and loads of bluebells here in this woodland. They're one of my favorite woodland flowers. Yeah, and other things that we'll be doing is creating a school, a little area for teaching. So unfortunately, one of our largest trees here had to be took down because it had a big crack in it. And we had all of the wood chopped up here. And me and a couple of the other wild skills trainees came down and split some of the logs in half. And we've just been sanding those down, trying to create them into like some nice benches for the kids to sit on. But that's another thing that we want to get done this year with all our volunteers. Yeah, it's a really lovely day today. Hopefully we get some volunteers today. we've not had too many since recently. So yeah, we're going to be putting up some posters, trying to get some outreach going, try and get a few more people. But yeah, if you're in the area, come down. It's a really nice time. You come help us count some butterflies, build some benches. Yeah, I think that's about it. Cheers, Ray.
Oh, that was lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely want to go down to Dulwich and see the butterfly. All of those projects sound absolutely brilliant. Like, yeah, love to get a bit of survey work and things in.
Yeah, it's really nice. We've noticed this year, even at our lead sites, which are sort of slap bang in the middle of really industrial areas, because of it being so quiet, we've had a lot more butterflies. We've noticed a lot of orange tips this year.
Yeah, we've not people have been weeding out mustard, which means we've ended up with loads of orange tip butterflies, which has been amazing. Like, it's been great because we've been coming in all through lockdown, been able to see. Yeah, I think if you watch the backlog of live streams we're doing, you'll see us intermittently being like, "Oh, an orange tip."
Yeah, yeah, they're so lovely. Those little ones. Yeah, I like the orange tips.
Yeah, it does seem to be a bumpy year for them. But that's I'm a little bit jealous of you being in London as well. It's getting quite hot here. We've chosen to be in the sun, so we're starting to melt. It looks like we've got some sort of nice dappled shade.
Yeah, no, it's lovely and cool at the moment. Here, yeah. But yeah, enjoy the sunlight, enjoy the sunshine anyway.
Well, you enjoy the rest of the day, Joseph. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone watching who's in the South London area, then get in touch with Dulwich, TCV Dulwich. You've got a Twitter, haven't you, and things? So like, we'll share the contact details on our social media as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. All right, cool.
Sounds like a really lovely project down there. So thank you very much.
All right, take care, Joseph. Bye bye. Okay, so that's wonderful. Next, we've got a bit of a video from one of our Wild Skills trainees, Kaylee.
Yeah, Kaylee from the whole office wasn't able to join us live today. She's off today. But yeah, she's very kindly done some pre-record. So we're doing a little bit of, I'd say Hazel, who's our administrator, who's at the tech end, is doing some sort of tech jiggery pokery and wizardry. Yeah, that's the word. And we'll be bringing us a nice a nice pre-recorded segment that Kaylee's very kindly done yesterday, I think. So yeah, we'll just send you over to Hazel and Kaylee's pre-recorded video, hopefully. Or we talk. Well, there we go.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee, one of the Northern Wild Skills trainees based in Hull office, working for the Conservation Volunteers, which is supported by players of the People's Postcode Lottery. Today I'm here with both Hull and York TCV offices in joining force at Rossington Colliery near Doncaster. The site was planted earlier this year in February. With another of the Wild Skills trainees, Eva, with the York office, where they planted 16,700 trees. They then got pushed back because of the dry weather. We had around April time, so they've had to cease planting until later this year, when they can recommence later on. But so the colliery, which is more so over there, shut in 2007. And the substrate from the soil tips have been flattened.
Okay, so unfortunately, because that was a lovely video, and Rossington is absolutely lovely site. So we're going to post that video later, and if you want to get a little bit of a tour around Rossington when the weather wasn't quite so lovely, me and Alex actually did some tree plant deads on TCB Leeds YouTube channel, and you can go back through our playlist there.
Yeah.
But I think if we'll revisit that. So thanks very much to Kaylee for doing that. And
it's a shame, but
that piece of work, was it like 20,000 trees or something?
It was a lot of, and I mean, it was done because of the restrictions at the moment, it was teams of 6 to 2 groups of 6 people going up, 3-4 times a week, and
they had volunteers.
Trees.
They had volunteers going. We had volunteers going down Leeds to go and help them with it. They had volunteers from the local community at Rossington. We met some really amazing people there from the people that had done their apprenticeship when it was an active mine. So it's an old colliery site that's now been regenerated into a sort of nature reserve and country park. And people that always used to work on machines, and it was a really interesting site. So we will post that video for you to see what Kaylee's been up to there. She's been helping and done so much down, helping facilitate that project over the last few months. It's just such an impressively massive scale bit of work that they've done with volunteers. So sorry that had a few technical glitches, but we'll move on now to we've got
Elliot and Wes,
who are down in London again. So they will be introducing us. We're going to get 2 segments from them, which we're going to first of all have a look at some of the work that volunteers have done, and then we'll come back to you later as well. We'll let them talk about that though.
Yeah.
So
over to
you. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name's Elliot. Wes is on the camera behind me, and I'm in Stave Hill Ecology Park, which is in the Rotherhithe Peninsula in southeast London. Really excited to be here this morning. Like Freya and Alex said, we're going to do 2 segments, and I'm going to start off here at the main pond in Stave Hill, talking about what some of our corporate volunteers have done, who were here just last week. So as you can imagine, our corporate volunteers weren't able to come on site for well over a year because of the pandemic. And so last Thursday, we welcomed them back, some volunteers for their Employee Action Day. And they came from NatWest RBS Group, who are one of our biggest supporters here at Stave Hill. And we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the work that we do here if it wasn't for their support and the hours that they put in every year. So it was really great to have them back and have them on a really wide-ranging project here at the main pond. So I'm going to talk through what we did last week and what they put together. But first, just want to explain what we're doing here at Stave Hill. So obviously, because of the pandemic, everyone wanted to get out a lot, wanted to see their local nature reserves, their green spaces. And that was great. It was really great to have a lot more visitors on site. The issue with that is that a lot more people meant that some of our wildlife spaces got encroached upon a little bit. And so what we have been doing at Stave Hill is thinking more about how we can make wildlife places and people spaces, and how we can make sure that wildlife isn't disturbed when, you know, there are perhaps in the winter, that we're not having people trampling paths or going off the path and trampling areas where maybe they're hibernating or pupating. So one of the things that we've done at the main pond here to kind of section off that people space is get the corporate volunteers to do a bit of remedial work for the main pond. So you can see here, we've just put up this fence, which they did last week. So there was 12 of them from RBS NatWest, and quite a variety of tasks. So we put up this long fence, and the reason we did that is if you look over here at the bank of the pond, it was quite trampled. Unfortunately, we had some folks who were having little barbecues and bonfires at night. And so what we wanted to do was section it off so that the bank of the pond had an opportunity to recover. So we built this fence, or the corporate volunteers, I should say, built the fence. And there was a real variety of tasks. So we had folks doing that. We had folks decorating the fence to let people know what exactly they might expect to see in this area in and around the pond. We also had folks working on the bank itself. So you can see we've put some gravel down at the bottom there just to help its recovery. And then just beyond that, we planted some new pond plants, again, to introduce some plant biodiversity into this area where we were getting a bit of over vegetation from reeds, for example, which leads me to the back there where you can see there's been some reeds cut down. And the reason we did, the volunteers last week did that was because we wanted to create a more open space in the pond so that the pipistrelle bats that are really common here had more open space from which to feed. So there was a real variety of tasks, and really great to have the corporate volunteers back who'd been away for so long. And so now this fence will be here for a couple of years while the pond recovers, thankfully. And we had some folks who, some regular visitors coming by during that session saying, oh no, my dog or my daughter likes to go and get really close to the pond to see what's happening. Thankfully, there's still space right at the back where we created that opening from the reeds where people can still look at the pond. And we actually have an art installation there. We have some art students who come every year from Chelsea and Camberwell College of Art. And they're doing a little installation there, which will be ready later on in the year. And so this area, like I said, we've got the wildlife area here where we're protecting as much as possible. But then we've also got the people area here where people can enjoy what's happening. So that's it for the corporate volunteer section. We're going to dash over to the compound and see what some volunteers are doing this morning. But I'll hand over back to Alex and Freya and see what they're up to.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you,
very
Elliot.
much. Yeah.
Thank you, Wes. Yeah.
It sounds amazing. Yeah, it sounds wonderful. I mean, that sort of rewilding and sort of claiming back nature from where people have kind of, you know, maybe because people are trying to go outside more this year, they maybe trampled on areas that they probably shouldn't have, but the volunteers are doing a great job.
It is one of the sort of key issues of urban green space management, is trying to find that balance, isn't it, between sort of looking after wildlife but also looking after people.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've got a really good system in place, so well done. We'll let you do your mad dash across site to get to your volunteers, so thank you very much. We'll see you at the other end.
See you in a couple of minutes. All right.
So yeah, are we going to talk a little bit about what we actually do at Hollybush? Because we've talked a little bit before about the history of Hollybush and things. So if you watch last week's one for Local History Month, you can actually see about Hollybush and the history of it. Should we?
I will go
around.
Yes. There we go. Switch the camera around.
So we've actually, as we've said throughout the live stream, it's been a quiet year for a lot of TCV because we've not been able to run the groups and the activities that we normally would. But we are really starting to feel like the old Hollybush, which is quite bustling. I can hear sweeping in the background. We've been able to hear dry stone walling. So there's a dry stone walling course going on up in the parachute tent shelter, which has recently been built by volunteers. We've got the Time to Shine over 50s gardening group. We've got the green gym going on today. We've got the learning disability project. We've got woodwork course. Is that all the volunteer projects we've got today?
Gardening course mentioned.
We've not got the course. That's the Time to Shine one.
Sorry, yeah.
So yeah, and that's just today. So that's all volunteers, all coming to this little site in in West Leeds, where they're looking after the site, and they just do an enormous amount of work. So over here you can see there's a pond down there. There's a wildlife meadow. We've got the parachute shelter up there that they've built in the last year. We've got the Bodgers Hut, which is what we've been sat in front of, which is one of our volunteers has done a huge amount of work restoring this year. So it's just an absolutely amazing amount that happens. When the volunteers haven't been here last year, and it was just a couple of members of staff coming in each day just to make sure that the site was secure and making sure that everything was ticking over. And we were trying to keep on top of the maintenance, and we were just fighting a completely losing battle. Like, everything was just getting out of hand. And now the volunteers come back, and like after a few weeks, they've just sorted everything out. It's just so impressive how much the energy and the time given by volunteers really do in Hollybush and in TCV across the country. So we can't do much of a walk round of Hollybush because there are volunteers on site, and they don't necessarily want to be surprised by suddenly being broadcast on the internet. But we did just want to say about the extent of what they do. We've also got, as well as Hollybush site, where we've got all of these things happening, we've got a lot of things happen off site. So we've got the Green Gym happening up in Wortley. We've got other ones that happen across the city at satellite ones that me and Alex actually go out and run those ones along with our colleague Anya. So yeah, we're running things all across the city, as well as having another site that Becky introduced earlier, Skelton Grange. So if you are in Leeds and you're interested in getting involved, do get in contact, because we are sort of building the groups up again. So we will at some point soon hopefully be able to accept volunteers en masse.
Practical team is out as well today.
Oh yeah, of course they are.
They are building or improving a playground in a primary school. So there's lots and lots of things that TCV offers. It's not necessarily all gardening. It's not all hard maintenance work. You know, there's a wide variety of things that we offer all across the country. But again, I think the thing that I find so amazing, because I've always worked at TCV Leeds, but this year we've been going out with the live streams, is just how different the projects are across the whole country. So if you're living somewhere and you're thinking TCV doesn't do anything near me, it's worth keeping a check on social media, because we do travel and we do opportunities up and down, and never too far away.
There is just so much variety. Hearing about the biodiversity sort of citizen science surveying stuff going down on in London, and they do quite a lot of that at Skelton Grange as well. So they do sort of their yearly amphibian survey and bird box surveys and things. So it's just such a variety, and you can do sort of one-off days, or you can become a regular member of a group, or you can sign up for a short course. There's so many opportunities for so much variety of that. Yeah, get involved, and just a massive thank you to everyone that already does, because as I said at the beginning, we are in awe of just how much is achieved by volunteers just here
they don't call us the conservation volunteers.
Yeah.
And if you're already watching this, chances are you already volunteer with us, or you're interested. And now things are starting to open up again. Get in contact with us. We're going to put all the links to all the socials for all the offices that I've mentioned today. And if you're interested, get involved, because there's nothing better than getting outside. Now we're getting into summer as well. As long as you've got a bottle of sun cream with you.
Yeah, we've just done some, as Elliot was talking there, we were doing some background emergency sun creaming.
Feel this arm getting very hot in the sun.
So stay in the shade, keep yourself cool. But I'm hoping that Wes and Elliot will have made their jog across to their site now.
We don't know how far their jog is.
They said about 5 minutes, so how long have we been talking? Hazel, can you see where they are? So if anyone does have any questions or anything, you can put them in the comments as well, so that whatever you're watching on, and either they'll pop up on the screen and we might be able to answer them for you live, or we will be able to, Hazel might be able to answer them in the comments as well.
We just had an update from the field and they're not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet.
Bit longer, but yeah, any questions, give us a shout. We'll either try and answer them live now, or if you put a comment on the Facebook or YouTube.
We do check them after the event, so we should be able to see them. And yeah, if you've volunteered with Hollybush, with TCV in the past, we'd love to hear stories of people that have volunteered with us, because the charity, it turned 60 in 2019 and Hollybush turned 40 in 2019. So the charity it used to be BTCV and is now TCV as of 2012. So if you've got any stories about volunteering with us in the past, we absolutely love to hear them. It's just so fascinating hearing about the different things that have happened over the years. People used to go on TCV holidays. They don't exist anymore, I think. But there's just so many lovely things we hear, and just so many impressive things we hear that volunteers have done, and like gone just above and beyond what you'd expect people to just so generously give their time for.
One of my local nature parks has got a lot of ponds in, like the one Elliot and Wes were showing, that was actually built by BTCV.
I love playing Spot the Logo. You'll go into a park and you just see the little plaques and you're like, oh, our volunteers did that.
If you're I don't know what it's like for the other offices, but if you are a Hollybush volunteer or you've had experience with Hollybush, there is actually something on our website where you can share your story. John last week would be upset if we didn't mention. There's a little thing where you can put in a little blurb about your history with Hollybush, a story that you've got from volunteering, or if you were part of a group that TCV came in and helped. So please, reach out to us. Let us know if we've impacted you. Only if it's good.
Yeah, funny stories are good, but like,
as long as everyone was safe, the story has a happy ending. Oh.
I'm starting to think I'm sat here and I'm overheating, just sat on a bench talking, and so I'm so respect to Wes and Elliot for their jog across site. Should we take a look at what's the nearest thing made by volunteers? Should we have a look at this picket fence up here? That's quite a nice.
It's very new. Yeah.
This is something. So that we've done the Veolia project, which has been something that has been going on recently. And that means that was just a cunning excuse, so I got to be in the shade for a little bit. Nice. Oh, it's nice. So this is the woodland we've got here. So we were sort of down by the pond and the meadow and sort of a more veg growing area down there. We come up past the bees, and then we've got the woodland. So we're kind of located between a main road and a canal. So we're on a nice stretch of green belt that we're just sort of following down. So yeah, this is a nice sort of traditional bit of greenwood paling fencing that's been built recently as part of a bit of Veolia funding that we've had. So this has been a massive project that happened during lockdown with the practical team volunteers coming in and doing that. So it's just a really nice bit of fence. We've got the new parachute shelter, so for outdoor learning. So I think so
there are some people who were thought that they're doing the dry stone wall, or I'm very careful not to go anyone today. There are dry stone walling for
nice little and it's a nice just little bit of outdoor learning space. The Tiny Outdoor Explorer group, which is the early years group that comes in on some days of the week, they come up and use that space and sort of do lots of running around in the woods looking for mini beasts.
Lots of mini beast stunts and sort of wild and stuff. Really good in the formative years.
We can go and look at the mini beast area as well, because we've just had the Learning Disability Project and Wood Squad have been working on. Oh, I say that, have we actually situated it yet? But they've.
There is a new mini beast project. We would probably
share. But they've been helping maintain sort of these wildlife areas that we've got. So we've got a nice fernery and log habitat piles down here. So have we had any updates on the progress of our joggers? So all this fencing, this is sort of further along, this sort of fencing around the edge here has been put in as well during lockdown. All of the fence work, loads of new styles as well.
Oh yeah, so this was done by small group of volunteers during one of the brief respites during lockdown, where we were
last
allowed
autumn, wasn't it?
site.
And this was actually designed by a volunteer officer, which is our volunteer placement where people learn leadership skills and things. So not only do we have groups of volunteers, we also have volunteers that come in and they lead the groups of volunteers. So one of our volunteer officers, Nigel, was involved in the planning of this and getting the new styles put in. So a multi-level impressive volunteering within the amazing people we work with.
We accept volunteers all skill levels. If you're free, no experience at all, the great thing about we can impart on it, but actually it's the group of volunteers that you work with that tend to be the most knowledgeable.
Yeah, we were talking about some of the people that who built fences their whole career or sort of did walling, and they come in and they join us and help out with in groups, and just people that are so willing to come and give their time, their skills and their expertise.
If we head back up to, I think, where's Elliot up back?
Our intrepid explorers have traversed the site.
It's been an interesting experiment for a live stream today.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to visit all the different sites, because as we say, we went and helped out at Rosington, and we also helped out on a reed planting project up in Blythe, an old for mine up there. And it's just really interesting going around and just seeing just so much diversity in the projects that TCV does and volunteers are working on, that we just really wanted to give you a representation of what the charity does, because sometimes you end up in one group and then actually there's loads of other stuff going on. So
we've got explorers are back. They've done a 20-mile jog.
Are you two okay? Have you got your breath back? So yeah, we're down with Wes and Elliot again, and they are going to introduce us to a bit of work that volunteers are doing today, I think. So
hello.
Yeah, you're
I
on.
don't know if you folks can hear it.
Over to you.
We're back
Yes.
at Stave Hill's compound. It's very busy, you can see and hear. But like I said, lots happening on site this morning. We've got some of our local volunteers helping to make a dry stone wall, which I'll show you in a second. We've got our beekeepers working over in the corner here, who are checking on some of the hives, which you can just see over this side. Wes is just making sure they're getting the right angle. But like I say, they're just checking out some of the hives over here. And then we got some volunteers working on doing some weeding. And then in here, we've got some of our art students that I met this morning working on the dry stone wall that I mentioned. Hello, Audrey. So we think we're online. We've been having a few technical issues, but we're just going to go ahead and chat to you if that's all right, and hope that it's being broadcast. So this is Audrey. Audrey's one of our volunteers. Do you want to walk us through what you're doing this morning?
We are trying.
We're trying to tidy up around here and just kind of extend what we're doing, because the ecology park that I showed you earlier is one of the main one of the many wildlife spaces, whereas here in the compound it's more of a
I think they've cut out again.
Unfortunately, it looks like we've lost them.
Oh, are they coming back again? I think their signal might have dropped out.
Yeah. Wes and Elliot, if you're on Wi-Fi, if you disconnect from the Wi-Fi and go onto your phones
And learn.
The corporate volunteers that I talked about earlier, and also the local volunteers who bring lots of different skills and ideas to the work that we do here. So hopefully you folks are able to hear the internet at Stave Hill Ecology Park is still not great. But I'm going to hand back over to Freya and Alex. Thanks, folks.
Right. Well, we caught most of what you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like they had some dry stone walling going on, volunteers, beekeeper coming in to change the hives, and it's really nice to see you there briefly.
clearing up the veg patch. Yeah, lovely.
And get a really nice idea of what it's look like. Really nice varied site, and sounds like a lot of thoughts going into it, and a lot of variety, and a lot of balance between the people, it being a lovely space for humans and people to use, but also looks like it's great for wildlife. So it looks really nice.
Very, very green.
Definitely sort of having it back of my head, like how can I make sure I can go and visit all of these places?
I think we're gonna have to. I mean, we're gonna have to continue TCV Hollybush on the road.
Yeah.
Where we go and we visit all of these sites, and we could probably do a full 30-minute to an hour live stream on each of the sites. We could probably do 10 at each site. Like, we've done 50 in our Leeds offices. But I think it'd be nice to go and visit the other sites.
So people just put in the comments, oh, we think Freya and Alex should go on the road, so that would be great. Yeah. So, I think that's all of our live stream. Unfortunately, Eva's not been able to join us today, who's our wild skills trainee, but she will be sending through a video later in the week. So we'll pop Eva's up online, and we'll pop one for the one from Kaylee up online that was load. So, there will be more videos coming up that people can watch. But thank you so much for everyone who's joined us and everyone who's watching it back after the event. And I hope that's given you a little idea of just how impressive our volunteers are.
And again, like from both, there's no amount of times we can say thank you to the people that come and volunteer with us, because if you didn't, then we wouldn't be able to do what we do. Like I said, we're the conservation volunteers. You're a key part of what we do. Thank you.
So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much to everyone that's joined us today as well. And we will be back again. Me and Alex will be back again next week. And I'm hoping now we're going to be able to encourage the wild skill trainees to maybe get involved in the future again, because it's been really nice to have you join us.
All of you were brilliant. Yeah, all of you were really, really good. It was really nice to see what it is that you're doing in your areas.
Yeah, the trainees are doing such an amazing amount of work for us as well, that it's been great to have them on board today. It's been great to have them working with TCV. So thank you, everybody. And me and Alex will be back again next week. But everyone else, go and enjoy the lovely sunny weather, because it is beautiful. Go and find your local park or woodland and go and be like, I'm going to go with the orange tip butterflies. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.